What's up guys, Apathetic here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the new Void subclass tree Attunement of Fission, which features the new Nova Warp super. Now I know this super has been out for a little bit, but now I finally got my hands on it, finally got my last seed of light there. I'd like to give you guys an idea of how this super performs in PvP and what I found to be a great exotic to use depending on your playstyle. So with that guys, let's get into it. So starting with the melee ability, you have Atomic Breach, which causes your melee ability to hit an extended range and creates a void explosion. So basically what this looks like in game guys is you hit a guy, you'll see some void energy glued to his body for a short moment, and then it explodes and obviously it does damage to him, right? Which is all well and good, but the real highlight of this ability, which really isn't mentioned, is how it flings. And I'm talking like totally throws your enemy backwards, creating a bunch of space. And because it's so sudden with how far it can push the enemy back, a lot of times it really disorients your opponent. And I've had it used against me and I get totally thrown off by how I'm suddenly thrown backwards. I've even been thrown off the map by it, to be honest. But I really enjoy this melee ability because not only does it do good damage, but allows you to push your enemy back and make it less likely for to trade with them, because you know you're both getting into like a melee fight or a close range shotgun fight and you guys just trade or you just beat each other down. It creates that space so you can finish them off with a nice shotgun or primary shot. Moving on in the tree, you have Dark Matter, where void ability kills health, melee, grenade, and class ability energy. So basically you kill someone with a void ability, charges all your stuff minus your super, and gives you a small chunk of health. This perk is nice, and anytime you can reduce the cooldown of your abilities, that's always going to be a plus. But for me, I feel like the chunk of health you get, I don't know, maybe I'm just so used to how powerful everything else is, I feel like it'd be a little bit more substantial. Wish it gave you just a tiny bit more to make it feel a bit more impactful. But that being said, man, depending on the situation, it can allow you to survive a little bit longer. It can save your life in very certain situations and allow you to close your gap, especially when you're using the super and if you're trying to chain kills together. But I just wish it gave you just a tiny bit more, just a tiny bit. Now in the next part of this tree, we'll be discussing handheld Supernova, which allows you to convert your grenade into a short range void blast. This for me is one of the highlights of this subclass tree. Basically you quickly charge your grenade up and now you have a short range blast that one shots enemies. So if you're a close quarters player, you like to use a shotgun, this is huge, because with this ability you can basically slide in, use your handheld Supernova, then slide over and shotgun someone else. Or on the flip side, if someone's about to push you around a corner, you're about to get shotgun rushed by someone, you can charge this ability up quickly and use it defensively against those people that like to rush with a shotgun. Now those are just two examples of how this ability can be used, but I can tell you guys this has so much utility in the Crucible and has easily been my favorite thing about this subclass tree outside the super, and it's just come in handy in so many different scenarios, guys. Now with that guys, it's time to talk about Nova Warp, and that's a super for this subclass where you release like an anime-esque void blast and then you can teleport short distances, which helps you close the gap on your opponents. Now I can honestly say this has to be one of my favorite supers to use. You just feel so powerful as you're teleporting around, and the range of the void blast is actually pretty large. I was actually surprised. Like when I've seen other people use it, for some reason it just seems shorter, but you know, it's not as bad as I thought, and it's pretty awesome because you can even kill people who are on the other side of walls. I mean, you can't kill people through walls per se, but like if they're around a wall where there's a space in between on both sides, you can kill them through that wall because of the size of the void blast. Now the only downside of this super is you have to be good at closing the gap on your opponents. So while the range is good on the super, you still have to be decently close, and you have to make sure you charge the super enough before you release it so that it can one-shot your enemies. If you pulse it too quickly, it'll still do some pretty serious damage, but not enough to kill in a lot of scenarios. And that's where the teleport ability of this super really comes in handy. But be aware, it does cause your super to drain quicker. So if you're constantly teleporting a lot, it's kind of like a mini blink, if you will, your super is going to drain much quicker. So for me, the way I try to avoid that is I use blink instead, which will allow you to close the gap in a very similar manner without using up your super energy, which is pretty nice. And that takes me to what I found to be a great pairing with this particular skill tree, and that's using transversive steps along with blink. So transversive steps increases your sprint speed and automatically reloads your weapons. This allows you to effectively blink shotgun and ensure that your weapons are always loaded. I like blink with this particular tree because you can blink above two people, hit one with a handheld supernova, then slide over and shotgun the other, and then if there's a third guy, in a lot of cases you can blink away safely to gain better positioning and then just keep, you know, racking up those kills and building up your streak. And using blink can cause a lot of misdirection for players. And with that, guys, that's gonna wrap up this video. Definitely, if you haven't gotten the super yet for whatever reason, or you've tried it and you're like, you know, weren't really sold on it, try it with blink, try it with transversive steps. I can tell you guys it makes a huge difference. And if you decide to try it, leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of this particular skill tree with transversive steps and blink. And make sure you like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're looking for more Destiny 2 content, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.